For decades, aviation chased one dream: to fly faster, higher, farther. But one aircraft chose a different ambition. Not speed, not elegance. Weight. This was the Antonov An-225.
The Antonov is unmatched as far as how extraordinary of a flying machine it is.
The largest aircraft ever built. The heaviest machine to ever leave the ground. Standing beneath it, people didn't feel small. They felt temporary. 6 engines, 32 wheels, a wingspan longer than a football field. This wasn't an airplane designed to impress. It was designed to solve a problem no one else could.
We have so big cargo and now we'll fly with this cargo. How is possible? But I know it's possible.
In the late days of the Cold War, the Soviet Union faced a challenge. How do you move something too large for trains, too fragile for ships, and too important to fail? The answer was radical. Build an aircraft so large that the rules no longer applied. The Antonov An-225 was created to carry the Soviet space shuttle.
This Antonov is the only plane that can load over 100 tons.
A flying solution to a political ambition. A machine born not from profit, but from rivalry. Engineers pushed beyond known limits.
How is that possible? A wing as long as a football field? No way this thing can fly.
Every system had to be reimagined. The wings strengthened. The landing gear expanded. The fuselage stretched beyond anything that had flown before. Even the runways beneath it had to be reinforced. This aircraft wasn't meant to fly often. It was meant to fly once and succeed. On December 21st, 1988, the impossible happened. The engines roared, the ground trembled, and slowly, the heaviest aircraft ever built began to move. Against logic, against expectation, it lifted. The Antonov An-225 was airborne. For a brief moment, the world stood still. Human ambition had defeated gravity, but history had other plans. Just a few years later, the Soviet Union collapsed. The future this aircraft was built for vanished overnight. The An-225 was left behind. Parked, silent, too large, too expensive, too specific for a changing world. For years, it didn't fly. A giant with no purpose. Until the world realized something. When disasters strike, when the impossible must be moved, there is still nothing else like it. The An-225 returned, not as a symbol of power, but as a lifeline. It carried generators to darkened cities, relief supplies to broken nations, cargo so heavy no other aircraft could lift it. When roads failed, when ports were useless, when time mattered, the giant answered. Wherever it landed, people stopped to watch. Children stared upward.
When people come out to watch the Antonov take off and land,
Cameras came out. Because this was more than metal and engines. It was proof that humans could build something simply because it was difficult. Then, in 2022, the world changed again. The Antonov An-225 was grounded during a war it was never built for. Trapped, exposed. It never flew again. Images spread across the world. The giant, damaged, burned. History reduced to silence. The loss felt personal, not because it was practical, but because it was irreplaceable. The Antonov An-225 was never just an aircraft. It was ambition made real. Engineering taken to its extreme. A reminder of what humanity can create and what it can lose. It carried the heaviest loads ever flown. And in the end, it carried our imagination. Antonov An-225. Once built, once flown, never forgotten.
Gust of wind pushes the aircraft and it rolls in one way. The aircraft naturally wants to stabilize itself.
What made the Antonov An-225 truly different was not just its size. It was how much it could carry. A single flight could transport 250 tons of cargo. That is more than some aircraft can weigh in total. Its cargo bay was longer than a basketball court, tall enough to hold industrial machinery, entire train cars, even aircraft parts. Loading was an operation of precision. The nose of the An-225 could lift upward, allowing cargo to roll directly inside.
The nose lifts up, it gives you quite open access to the entire cargo bay.
The landing gear could kneel, lowering the aircraft to the ground. For the first time, gravity worked for the plane, not against it. Inside the cockpit, nothing felt ordinary. 6 engines had to be monitored at all times. Fuel consumption was measured in tons per hour. Every takeoff required absolute perfection. Pilots described flying the An-225 as commanding a moving city. Once airborne, it was surprisingly calm, slow, stable, unshakable. The aircraft did not rush the sky. It claimed it. Air traffic controllers cleared entire corridors. Runways were emptied, schedules rewritten. When the An-225 was in the air, the world adjusted around it. Yet for all its power, it remained fragile. Each flight was planned weeks in advance. Weather watched closely. Airports chosen carefully. There were no backups. If something failed, there was no replacement.
It's unique, only one in the world, and the biggest, still biggest plane in the world.
Because there was only one. Over time, the aircraft became more than a machine. It became a symbol of engineering without shortcuts, of ambition without apology. In a world racing toward efficiency and speed, the An-225 stood for something different. Maximum. And for a while, the world still made room for giants.